social media post-purchase goals. Why don't you talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, I do want to talk about this. Now, one caveat I'll say is that unlike email, where you can show really personalized content, you can use people's names. Now, in social media, we can't do that. So, we're not talking about personalization at the same level as email, but still enough that they can feel they know me, they care about me. I haven't just been forgotten, to really create that relationship like we've been talking about. So a few of the things that you can get out of their post purchases for yourself is, first of all, with that specific person, you can leave them with a good taste in their mouth. We talked about the importance of the adoption phase immediately after. If they were really excited on Monday when they ordered it, and by the time it arrived on Thursday, they'd already forgotten about it, or the next week or 2 weeks later and moved on, then they might not have the same patience to work through that adoption phase. They could be a lot more likely to leave it by the wayside. Keeping them reminded of the content, with content that they're seeing in social, you can thank them for their purchase. You can give them guiding videos to get started even before it comes, so that if you know that there are certain, roadblocks when it comes to adopting, that you can even address those before they're holding their package in their hand, and get them primed to open that package, to know exactly what you want them to do, like with our camera example. So start showing them content about, getting started with this camera, just anything that will keep them just as excited, because we don't want to forget about them after they buy. That's the whole point. That's when they become super important.
And this is a form of marketing. So,
Absolutely. So we have that it really can help your adoption phase be more sticky, be more effective, be quicker, get them to open the box faster when it arrives, kind of keeping them really excited and primed with the content and ready. Getting customer feedback, which is important for both sides. It's important for the customer, because if they didn't have such a good experience, knowing that you're listening will help correct that, right? If you reach out to them and they tell you about a kind of negative experience on your site and they get a good response, that's so much better than if they had a bad experience, you never asked them, and then they just never came back, right? And so that's really, that goes for also both building the relationship and for you, for optimizing your site and your user experience, because their feedback is so important to you. When they can say, well, I was confused about how you figure out the shipping, or I was confused about this and that. That's so important, especially if you hear people saying it over and over again. That is something that needs your attention on your website. Don't ignore it. And the people who just purchased on your website have the freshest memory about it. And they're the best ones to tell you, yes, it was a good buying experience. No, it wasn't a good buying experience.
Right. Very true. And you say here, you got to build trust with the purchaser, right? And get those positive reviews. I apologize, I should have the picture here. I don't know why it didn't embed, but either way, we'll still.
And another, growing positive reviews, this is a really great way, because everyone needs their positive reviews, and you all need the official reviews, right? Whether it's on the App Store or on Amazon, right? They're reviews that are worth more than others because they're verified, and you can prove this is a real buyer. And this can actually be a great way to prime people for that, because before you send them to the App Store where they're going to leave you 2 stars. Did you know they were going to do that before you sent them there?
Right.
You give them an intermediary, you give them your own, way to give feedback. And then if it's negative, you can reach out to them directly and help them, get back on track with a good relationship with you. And if it's already positive, then you can just create an automation that pushes good feedback to encourage them to leave you reviews on the sites where you're specifically trying to get reviews now. But that way you make sure that you're only asking people who are having good experiences to leave those Amazon reviews and so on and so forth.
We don't want your 2-star review on our site, right? Give us just the best.
Exactly. Give yourself a chance to fix their experience before they go and leave you a bad review. So that it's really, it the customer feedback is so big also in terms of your social proof, building your name and your brand online. You need to be there and you need to be listening.
Yes.
That's really the main.
There's one
the main
takeaway, you got to
goal.
listen to people. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And then you mentioned also social surveys, right? The actual surveys and the question length.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this, I think, is another great way. It kind of does a lot in one, because again, it gives you your feedback and you can also give offers and incentives. This can be a great way also to, if you want them to complete like a feedback form or something, but you want to make sure that you keep it really short on social. It's not like email where someone sits there, on their coffee break when they're procrastinating getting back to work anyway, and they can go through like 20 questions. Now, someone scrolling through Facebook is going to want to do this. So give them content that they can move through really quickly, just a few questions and be done with it.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I'll be the first to say, at least even just from the email side, I know we have about a 5-10 question survey for some of our clients. That email, for those who are concerned about, revenue and sending another email, that automation, it goes back to Google document for a survey. Yet that's probably the 4th highest converting automation. Just a survey. People want to hear about it. They're willing to buy from it, so it not only helps you get the data you need, but also provides a revenue stream. So that's really cool. And definitely on social, it probably is great to see that come up on your feed. Greg, I think it's Greg. Greg asks, are these ads as well? Are you running these as ads, or are these running as just static organic?
Yes, as ads, because if they were organic, you couldn't determine who sees them and who doesn't. And here it's really important to me that only the people that it's relevant, that I want them to see the survey. And so that's why we're talking about using paid media here. In organic, it's just one message for everyone. With paid media, we're really able to segment and show our specific content to specific audiences.
Amazing. Amazing. Very helpful. And then you also mentioned about incentivizing people for this and how to get them to the next level. Any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is also a really great way. Everyone on their site always has the social share, right? Share on Facebook, share on this. Very few people are going to do a social share from the website. If you give them an interesting post, though, you might get a social share out of that relates to their purchase. For lack of a more scientific term, it's just a bit dorky to be sharing, websites with friends. Look what I just bought. But on the other hand, if you're very excited about it and there's content about it that's funny and interesting or cool, and that you're excited and want to share with someone else, you're a lot more likely to share a social post than you are to hit that button from the landing page or the checkout or the thank you page. And this is just, again, this is that area where they're getting that, like all their dopamine is rushing into their brain because they just like purchased, right? So they're like, brain synapses all lighting up, and they're like primed to share. So you really want to let them go with that. This is a great opportunity for invite a friend or, referral programs. Invite a friend and you both get, 10% off or this and that and the other. Catch them there when they're excited. And invite them to bring more people in to the excitement.
That's exactly it. And what's interesting is based on what you said about getting that post-purchase excitement and getting them to take the next step, you've automatically created this kind of flywheel approach already, right? Just from this alone. You see this, that last slide told you how to do that, right? Step 1, ensure email and social are orchestrated and working together, right? You create that hourglass approach where you're constantly giving more and more value, more and more attention and listening to the customer and sharing the next step. They adopt it, they unlock value from your brand, you help them expand their product, you encourage them then to become advocates for you. Guess what? Now they bring in more and the cycle repeats. And that's how you kind of create this flywheel approach from so many different people, right? Everyone's got a ton of friends that they could bring into this system, all with the same preferences, all with the same likes and loves. So you've already created something there. So that's why I think we spend the most amount of time on the post-purchase portion of this, because that's where you have the most opportunity, right? They're excited, they're ready to go, they've
I
bought
would
from
say
you.
that's where there's the most missed opportunity. That's
Yeah,
where people are missing all the opportunity.
yes, that's
There's
exactly it.
it's just typically just radio silence after purchase.
That's unfortunate for a lot of brands, and hopefully this will help them get to that next level and really start thinking about what happens after. It's not just customer service, right? It's about marketing. It's about developing the relationship.